Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going on a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, the connection between mindful eating and emotional well-being.
Sounds intriguing.
It is.
Yeah.
We're taking a look at this podcast script, and it approaches mindful eating from, a faith-based perspective. It's pretty amazing how much wisdom there is in those ancient traditions, and now,
Like it's all coming full circle, right?
yeah, now science is like starting to back it all up.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see those connections emerge.
Yeah.
Like this script highlights this idea that food is more than just, fuel for the body.
Right.
It's a way to connect with something like a higher power.
Yeah.
And even modern science is showing the impact of diet on our, mental and emotional states.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
The script starts with this idea of beginning each meal with a prayer.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a really powerful practice, regardless of your, specific beliefs. Taking a moment to pause before we eat,
Right.
to kind of like express gratitude for the nourishment we're about to receive,
Yeah.
can really shift our mindset from one of just like mindless consumption to one of like appreciation and intention.
It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot, right?
Yeah,
Instead of just like shoveling food in, we're actually like present in the moment.
Exactly. And that presence is like a key element of mindful eating.
Okay.
The script also emphasizes the importance of like slowing down while we eat, really savoring each bite, and paying attention to the flavors and textures of our food.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to get caught up in like the hustle and bustle of daily life.
Right.
And just like scarf down our food without even like thinking about it.
It's definitely a challenge in our like fast-paced world.
For sure.
But even small steps,
Yeah.
can make a big difference.
Like what?
Like maybe putting your fork down between bites or taking a few deep breaths before you start eating.
Yep.
It's about creating those little pauses, that allow you to reconnect with the experience of eating.
The script also talks about the importance of choosing whole foods.
Yes.
It quotes Genesis 1:29, where God says, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." It seems like there's real emphasis on plant-based eating in this script.
Absolutely. And there's a growing body of scientific evidence to support the benefits of a plant-based diet for both physical and mental health.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that diets rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can reduce the risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and even certain types of cancer.
And what about the mental health aspect? Is there a connection between what we eat and how we feel emotionally?
Definitely. Remember we talked about the gut-brain connection?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that the bacteria in our gut, known as the microbiome, actually play a significant role in regulating our mood, sleep, and even our cognitive function.
Wow.
And the foods we eat directly impact the composition of our gut microbiome.
So if we're eating a lot of like processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats, we're essentially like feeding the, quote, bad bacteria in our gut.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And when those bad bacteria flourish, it can lead to inflammation throughout the body, including in the brain.
Right.
This inflammation has been linked to a number of mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and even, cognitive decline.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. It really makes you think twice about what you put on your plate.
It really does.
The script also mentions the importance of listening to our bodies. What does that look like in practice?
It's about tuning into those subtle cues that our bodies are constantly giving us.
Oh, yeah.
For example, how do you feel after eating a heavy, greasy meal? Do you feel energized or sluggish?
Right.
Do you feel mentally clear or foggy?
Yeah.
By paying attention to these signals, we can start to understand which foods nourish us and which foods make us feel, less than optimal.
So it's about becoming more aware of the connection between what we eat and how we feel, both physically and emotionally.
Exactly.
Right.
And that awareness is the foundation of mindful eating.
Yeah.
It's not about following a rigid set of rules,
Right.
but about cultivating a deeper understanding of our own individual needs and making choices that support our overall well-being.
The script also talks about the challenges of mindful eating in a digital age.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with food trends,
Right.
unrealistic expectations and social media posts that can make it hard to stay grounded in our own experiences.
It's true. It's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others,
Yeah.
feeling like we're not healthy enough or fit enough or falling prey to like the latest fad diets that promise like quick fixes but often do more harm than good.
I've definitely been there. It's so easy to like get sucked into that vortex of social media and
Totally.
lose sight of what truly matters.
That's why it's so important to cultivate a strong sense of like self-awareness
Yeah.
and to define our own values around food and body image.
Okay.
Like, what does a healthy and fulfilling relationship with food look like to you?
Right.
What are your non-negotiables when it comes to nourishing your body?
Hmm.
Once you have a clear sense of your own values, it's easier to navigate the noise and distractions of the outside world.
That's a great point. It's about like finding that inner compass
Yeah,
and trusting our own intuition,
totally.
even when it like goes against the grain of popular culture.
Yes.
This script also emphasizes the importance of recognizing food as a gift.
Hmm.
It's easy to take that for granted,
Ah.
especially in a society where we have such like abundant access to food.
It's so true. Taking a moment to acknowledge the source of our food, whether it's the farmers who grew it, the people who prepared it, or even the natural world that provided the ingredients,
Yeah.
can cultivate a sense of gratitude and reverence for the nourishment we receive.
It's like we're like participating in this incredible web of life,
Yeah.
and food is like the thread that connects us all.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that connection is something to be celebrated. This script really dives deep into the spiritual aspect of mindful eating,
Yeah.
emphasizing the importance of like seeing food as a gift from a higher power.
That resonates with me.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get like caught up in the what of eating,
Mhm.
calories, macros, the latest like diet trends,
Right.
that we forget the why. Why are we eating? What are we nourishing?
Exactly. And this script points to a deeper purpose.
Okay.
It quotes Matthew 4:4.
Hmm.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Food sustains us physically, but it's also an opportunity to connect with something greater than ourselves.
That adds a whole new dimension to the idea of mindful eating.
Mm.
It's not just about being present with our food, but also about being present with our, our spirit.
And that presence can be cultivated through, practices like starting each meal with a prayer. The
Yeah.
script suggests offering thanks for the food, the people who made it possible,
Yeah.
and even the opportunity to nourish our bodies.
I can see how that could be like a powerful way to shift your mindset before a meal.
Absolutely.
It's almost like a ritual, a way to set an intention for like mindful eating.
It is a ritual in a way, and
Yeah.
rituals can be incredibly grounding.
Right.
They help us connect with something beyond ourselves, something bigger than our daily worries and distractions.
So by incorporating like a prayer into our mealtime routine, we're not just like nourishing our bodies, but also our souls.
Precisely. And this connection between food and spirit is something that has been recognized for centuries in, various spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
The script also delves into the idea of like the original diet described in Genesis, which emphasizes plant-based foods as being life-giving.
It's interesting how like modern science is now catching up with ancient wisdom, discovering the incredible like health benefits of a plant-based diet.
It really is fascinating.
Yeah. But what about those who like struggle with emotional eating? How does mindful eating address that aspect?
That's an important question. Emotional eating is a complex issue.
Right.
And mindful eating can be a helpful tool in addressing it
Right.
by slowing down and becoming more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations.
Yeah.
We can start to recognize the triggers that lead us to eat for comfort or distraction rather than genuine hunger.
So instead of mindlessly reaching for a bag of chips when we're feeling stressed, we can like pause and ask ourselves,
Yeah.
am I truly hungry, or am I trying to soothe an emotional need?
Exactly. And that pause, that moment of awareness,
Right.
is where the real shift happens. It
Yeah.
allows us to make a conscious choice rather than reacting, automatically to our emotions.
The script doesn't explicitly talk about like specific techniques for managing emotional eating,
Yeah.
but it does emphasize the importance of listening to our bodies.
And that's a crucial part of the process.
Okay.
By paying attention to our physical sensations, we can learn to distinguish between, true hunger pangs
Yeah.
and the cravings that are driven by, stress, boredom, or other emotions.
It's like becoming like a detective of our own internal landscape. We're
Hmm.
like gathering clues to understand what's like really going on.
And the more we practice this awareness, the better we become at deciphering those clues.
Yeah.
We might notice that our stomach feels empty when we're truly hungry,
Mm.
but that we have like a knot in our chest when we're reaching for food out of, anxiety.
This script also touches on the challenges of practicing mindful eating in a world that's constantly bombarding us with messages about, food and body image.
Hmm.
It even uses a question from the original material,
Okay.
asking us how often we find ourselves scrolling through our phones, distracted while we eat.
It's a powerful question, isn't it? It highlights how easy it is to disconnect from the experience of eating,
Right.
to lose touch with like the sensory pleasures of food, and even to like miss out on the social connections that can happen around a shared meal.
I know I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like catch myself scrolling through social media while I'm eating,
Yeah.
and I realize I haven't even like tasted my food.
It's a common experience in our digital age.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with stimuli,
Right.
and it can be hard to resist the pull of our devices.
For sure.
But the script reminds us that we have a choice. We can choose to create boundaries, to set aside our phones during meal times, and to reclaim the sacred space at the table.
It's about creating those moments of intentional disconnection from the digital world,
Right.
so that we can reconnect with ourselves, with our food, and with the people around us.
And those connections are so vital for our well-being.
Yeah.
Like sharing a meal with loved ones, laughing, talking, and enjoying each other's company can be just as nourishing as the food itself.
The script also reminds us that mindful eating isn't about perfection.
Hmm.
It's about progress.
Yeah.
About making like small changes over time and celebrating our successes along the way.
Absolutely. It's not about beating ourselves up over every slip up or, indulging in guilt.
Right.
It's about approaching ourselves with compassion and understanding,
Yeah.
recognizing that every meal is a new opportunity to like start fresh.
And that's such a liberating message,
Totally.
especially in a world that often, bombards us with unrealistic expectations around food and body image.
It's a reminder that true well-being comes from within, from cultivating a sense of peace and acceptance that goes beyond, external appearances.
This script has really opened my eyes to the multifaceted nature of mindful eating. It's not just about, slowing down and savoring our food.
Right.
It's about connecting with our spirit,
Yes.
understanding our like emotional triggers, creating like boundaries with technology,
Right.
and cultivating gratitude for the nourishment we receive.
It really is a holistic practice, and this script does a great job of bringing all those aspects together.
Yeah.
It even touches on the idea of like using mindful eating as a way to connect with a higher purpose,
Okay.
a way to like honor our bodies as temples.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's not just about like what we're putting into our bodies,
Right.
but also about like the intention and the reverence we bring to, the act of eating.
And that intention can be so transformative. Like imagine sitting down to a meal and seeing it as an opportunity to nourish not just your, physical body,
Yeah.
but also your mind and spirit.
It's almost like turning a meal into a meditation.
Exactly. And the benefits of that kind of mindful eating extend far beyond, just physical health.
Oh, yeah.
Studies have shown that mindful eating can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost mood, and even like enhance cognitive function.
It sounds like mindful eating is like a key to unlocking a whole new level of well-being.
It really can be.
Wow.
And the beauty of it is that it's like accessible to everyone.
Right.
You don't need any, special equipment or training. It's
Yeah.
simply about bringing awareness and intention to the act of eating.
The script also acknowledges that mindful eating can be challenging in a world that, often glorifies busyness and instant gratification.
Right.
It encourages us to be patient with ourselves
Yeah.
and to celebrate the small victories along the way.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There will be times when we, fall back into old habits,
Yeah.
when we mindlessly snack in front of the TV or eat on the go.
Right.
But the key is to simply notice those moments without judgment
Okay.
and to gently redirect ourselves back to a place of, awareness.
It's about progress not perfection.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really important message,
Yeah.
especially in a society that like often promotes an all or nothing approach to, health and wellness.
It's about finding what works for you,
Mm,
what feels sustainable and nourishing in the long run.
right.
And it's about remembering that every meal is a new opportunity to start fresh.
The script ends with um, a really thought-provoking question.
Okay.
If you could design your ideal mindful meal, what would it look like? What would you eat? Where would you be? Who would you be with?
That's such a great question to reflect on.
Yeah.
It invites us to envision a way of eating that aligns with our values, our preferences. Hmm.
And our deepest desires for well-being.
It's about creating a mindful eating experience that nourishes us on every level, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
And it's a journey that's, unique to each individual.
Right.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
The important thing is to start paying attention, to listen to our bodies and to, trust our intuition.
Yeah, it really is about tuning in and figuring out what works for you.
Exactly.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into mindful eating,
Yeah.
I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on that question.
Mm.
What would your ideal mindful meal look like? And what small steps can you take today to start, creating that experience for yourself?
Remember, mindful eating is about, finding joy in the process, appreciating the nourishment we receive, and cultivating a sense of peace that radiates from within.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration of mindful eating and its connection to emotional well-being.
It was a pleasure.
May you find nourishment, peace, and a deeper connection to yourself through the simple act of eating.